viewers out there, we are so ready. We are coming to inspire all of you. Here are our opening video. I was dancing. Hello, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen. How are you feeling? I am over the moon. We have California in the house. We have America, South Africa, Australia, and Brazil. Elena, Brazil, is that right? Yes, it's Brazil. All over the world. All over the world. And today I am celebrating big time. So please ask me why. Oh, thank you for asking me. We have 2 more countries added to our amazing group, the Diamond Beauties Forever and the Tanzanite Heroes. We are now also having Egypt and China in our group. So we are now in 44 countries right around the world. That means our Diamond Moment magazine is also in 44 countries. How incredible! I am dancing and I have my dancing dress on today. So if I could quickly show you, look how beautiful. No shoes, so that I can dance. I love to have my hat on, a dancing dress, no shoes, and dance. So I am celebrating. So, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen, our show today is called Priceless Perspective. So I am sure you are wondering what is this title pertaining to self-worth. So I wanted to ask, what is your self-worth? How do you feel about yourself? If I tell you today, you are the most important person in your life, because if you are healthy, you love yourself, you take care of yourself, you can take care of anybody, you can love everybody. But it has to start here. It has to start from you. Will you now believe me when I say you are the most important person in your life? Because if you're all that healthy, happy, then the ripple effect to your family is all around you. And the ripple effect further is even there as well. I've got my guests ready. They are waiting in the back studio. So I want to ask you, would you love to take 3 deep breaths with me? Then I'm going to play my beautiful sponsored Jose Escobar's video. And then as soon as the video is finished, all 3 my guests is coming to inspire your socks off. Are you ready? Here we go. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Another one in. Exhale. Last one in. Exhale. Thank you, my beautiful Jose Escobar from the Connected Leaders Academy. for being our show sponsor for today.
Is Jose Escobar. I live in Washington, D.C. area. I'm a family man. I'm an entrepreneur, coach, author, and speaker. I have communities. I support people. I'm a servant leader, and the list goes on. And I'm primarily the CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. That's my bread and butter. That's my core offer, right? That's where I put most of my time and energy. And the Connected Leaders Academy is a growing community. It's a tribe of some of the highest level entrepreneurs from all over the world. We're now over 350 plus members, 42 states across the US, and 17 international countries. If you're an entrepreneur out there that's looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more money, more clients, right? This is the community for you.
Wow. I just want to say thank you, my beautiful Jose, for being a sponsor. And because he is a sponsor, there is an amount that I can pay over to the network. So thank you so much. My beautiful guest, you are here, you are here. So I know, Paul, you are first, and on my screen, then is JL, and then is Jennifer, Elena. But I'm going to start with Elena. My beautiful Elena, can you please introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from, and also tell us what self worth means for you.
So I'm actually Japanese, full-blood Japanese Brazilian, and I'm living right now in Colorado, beautiful Colorado. And I decided to start helping people to find more inner peace, regardless what they're experiencing in their lives, because of my own journey, healing journey. And self-worth for me is basically me remembering that I deserve to find that inner peace, that I deserve to experience more joy, and that it's something that we are born with. And in our trajectory through life, we forget and we need to recover, but we have to recover consciously choosing it. So I love
Wow, I
that to help.
Thank you. So we're going to talk about your technique, how you're helping the world out there. And we're also going to hear a little bit about your story before we hear how you're serving the world. So just take a breather, and then I'm going to move over to JL, and then Paul, and then I will be coming back to you. So my
Okay.
beautiful JL, can you please introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from, and then also tell us what self worth means for you.
Well, I'm JL Keez, or Jenny Lee, and I'm from Adelaide, Australia. And I have a background in trauma as a child. So I've been through, a fair bit. And through that process, I realised that my self-worth was pretty much in the gutter, really. And so I had to do a lot of work to put that back into my life and get back on top. And at the end of that process, I realised that for me, self-worth is really believing in myself and really owning my own power. And I mean that in a nice, empowering way rather than power over anybody. But it's giving yourself permission to be who you are and to know that who you are is good enough in this world today. So that's part of the message that I like to impart when I'm speaking to people across the world. So thank you so much for having me here today to contribute to this wonderful hour of power. Thank you.
Wow. I cannot wait to tell the ladies and the gentlemen about your writing skills and all that, but we will get to that, my beautiful one. So, my beautiful Paul, the first time I met you, I thought, wow, you have such a calming, relaxing voice. And then how powerful your message, your everything you do is so powerful. So I cannot wait for the two ladies and the viewers to meet you today. Please, can you introduce yourself? You are from California, and tell us what self worth means for you.
Well, thank you for those kind words. I feel blessed with your introduction. My name is Paul Hoyt. I live in Santa Clara, California. I'm a business consultant and personal coach. and a lifelong pursuer of health and happiness and spiritual energy. The way that I mostly help other people is through my mind sequencing personal development program that we'll get back to in a second. But what self-worth means to me is that absolute certainty, that perfect confidence that you are valuable and that you will be accepted and loved and embraced by others.
I love it. And I normally end off with the golden nugget, but we're going to bring it in a little bit earlier. So, what I am going to quickly do, I'm going to stay with you, Paul, and I'm going to ask you, please, can you bring in your golden nugget? I could not type or have all the questions in the opening video, but it was important for me so that we start off with this golden nugget, this amazing idea. You are the first person. It's not the first person that asked a question with the golden nugget. You are the only person that have done 3 questions regarding your golden nugget. Please, can you state the 3 questions for us, please?
I didn't understand that last question, Sanet, but I do have a golden nugget. May I just share that?
Yes, you may, please.
Yes. So my golden nugget is the path of 3 questions. We all have this power to simply shift the focus of our attention, and when we do, we can shift our energy and lift our spirits anytime and anywhere. And one of my favorite ways to do that is with the path of 3 questions. The path of 3 questions is like this. Question number 1 is, who am I when I'm at my best? And I encourage everybody to know who they are when they are at their best so that they can make their best self their very best friend. Question number 2 is to honestly ask yourself, well, how am I feeling right now, especially relative to how I feel and the person that I am when I'm at my best? And question number 3 is the magic question. It is, how do I want to feel right now? When you ask yourself how I want to feel right now, I want to feel more confident. I want to feel more joyful. I want to feel more loving and kind and capable and wise and peaceful and strong. And the list goes on and on. When you ask yourself that question, you immediately begin to draw into your current experience the energy that you seek. When you say, I want to feel confident, you draw in the energy of confidence. So that's it. That's my golden nugget, the path of 3 questions that you can use anytime and anywhere. Who am I when I'm at my best? How am I feeling right now? And how do I want to feel right now?
I love it. I love it. So, ladies, we're definitely going to end off with your golden nugget. So, the reason why I wanted to start with that, my beautiful Paul, Elena is serving the world like you will not believe. She does tapping. So I know we're going to ask for a story now, but I've just now changed the whole program. I'm so sorry. There's no scripture. It's organic as it comes. So, my beautiful Elena, can you tell us how you're serving the world through what you are doing and showing them, giving them the tools, please?
Sure. So basically, I am a car crash survivor. And in this car crash, I lost my parents and my first husband, and I was the first responder. So I saw them all dying. And from that tragedy, I was able to collect a lot of golden nuggets. I had many, 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 many dark nights of the soul. And from that journey, I was able to take ownership of being a wounded healer, someone that can go into anybody's hell and help them to find a way out. I don't walk the walk for my clients, but I definitely can be the guide out of that hell, which is one of the titles that I have for the book that I'm writing. So the thing is this, tapping helps through neurolinguistic programming combined with acupuncture to activate our prefrontal cortex and calm down the amygdala. So there's a lot of neuroscience to it. There is the ancient Chinese medicine to it. And a person can experience release and relief immediately. And in order for us to keep that platform of well-being, we keep doing the work, because to get out of hell is not just one step, but many, many, many steps. I love the saying from Winston Churchill, which is one of my gold nuggets, that if you're going through hell, keep going.
Wow, I love it. So we're going to hear a little bit more about that. So if I can then move over to JL. So JL, I just must remember your JL or Jenny Lee, but we decided we're going to call you JL because you have written a few books and you are also our Diamond Beauty's writing strategist expert. You have done two beautiful articles in our Diamond Mama magazine, and your way of telling a story is truly remarkable. So, may I ask, can you tell us a little bit of your story before you start to do your creating your amazing books and your creative writing to inspire the world? Thank you.
Well, thank you for all of those wonderful words, particularly referencing my writing. I didn't know I was a writer until I wrote my first book, and it's been really nice to know that that's well received. My background is steeped in sexual abuse within the family and outside of the family as well. It's a very, very big story and almost unbelievable. When I was, putting it together in my 30s, I had a childhood steeped in very strict family cultural control as well. So it wasn't surprising when I reached the age of 15 that down the slippery slope of anorexia nervosa I went, and I did that for 9 years. And even though I sort of came out and restored the weight and, I'd ruined my athletic career and all of that, other mental illnesses then joined me on the pathway moving forward. And those mental illnesses included debilitating migraines, OCD, suicidal depression, and a whole heap of others. And so by the time I was 37, I really had gone to so many healers and so many people to try and explain, what was happening for me and why I wasn't getting back to physical health again. And it was by meeting a lady who practiced reality therapy and choice theory. And she asked me that one sentence, tell me your story. And no one had ever asked me that question before. And immediately the tears flowed, and I knew that at last I'd found that person that was going to be able to support me through this. And so she took me down the pathway of really examining my life events and my life story and the messages that had been ingrained into me, and therefore my perception of the world and how I filtered how it worked. And so we did a lot of work on looking at my beliefs and my values and my perception, as I said, on how I believed this world apparently worked around me. And of course, I was just steeped in fear as well. So we challenged each of those fears as they presented themselves, from the background of my story. And there we found a lot of clues, and we were able to then create a lot of solutions and gradually begin to give myself permission to regain my self-worth and to get back on track in my life and discount all of those negative messages that were, impacting my whole being, physical, mental, emotional, everything. As a result of that, and from people who knew my story, intensely, I didn't share it with a lot of people because I wanted so much to be just a normal person in the world, because I thought if I couldn't be normal, out there in the real world, then I was going to completely fall apart and probably never come back again. So I was encouraged to write that first book, Keez Anorexia Unlocked. And through that process, I found that I did have a way of connecting through words to empower other people and for them to be able to relate and make connections and resonate with my story, which is really lovely to know that the words that I'm sharing are having a positive impact on other people. I then went on to write 2 more books, and my 4th one is being formatted and created at the moment. So, and then I met you, Sanet, just before Christmas time, and you invited me to write articles for you. And that seems to be a positive way of sharing my message as well and getting what I've been through. And I'm hearing Elena as well and Paul, we all have stories that bring us into this space eventually of being able to use our stories to inspire and support other people through their journeys of coming out the other end as well. So that's my background. That's my part of my story and what I'm contributing here for you this morning or afternoon or wherever we are in the world.
Yeah. Amazing. You are truly amazing. So as Elena. I'm so happy that I have this amazing combination of beautiful people to come and tell their story. And for me, as you know, I am loving calling myself the voice of a million because I have created the platforms, the TV shows, the magazine for everyone to come and tell their story. So, my beautiful Paul, can you tell us your story, please? Ah, you are muted. You can go ahead.
Thank you. I feel blessed that my story doesn't include a lot of the tragedy and the trauma that these other beautiful ladies have expressed so far. Mine is simply a kid that was just, always nervous and always tense and always upset, always afraid of doing the wrong thing, making a mistake. And in my particular case, I was taught that, if I made mistakes, that I would be sent to hell and tortured for all eternity. And those messages really hit me as a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old. So by the time I got to be 19, I realized that I was upset and nervous and anxious and stressed out almost all of the time, and began looking for a path, to relieve that. And I was blessed with an opportunity to learn some meditation techniques when I was 19. And that started me on my journey. Made a lot of progress over the next 10 years. And then I got stuck for about 25 years. From the age of 30 to about the age of 55, I got stuck and really, I don't think, made a lot of progress very much at all. So I still had this edge, still had this bitterness, this sarcasm, this fearfulness. I was kind of a dangerous person to be around because you didn't know when I was going to snap. But then I was blessed to have a few epiphanies. And eventually that came to my understanding of the incredible power we all have to simply stop thinking the thoughts we are thinking and shift our attention and begin to draw that love and light into our current experience. I developed my own system called mind sequencing, and mind sequencing has taught me and teaches others to think the thoughts we want to think so we can feel the way we want to feel and be the person we want to be. And that has enabled me to achieve what I call extreme self-awareness and extreme self-management skills. So these days, when I feel the least little bit of tension, the least little bit of nervousness or anxiety, I immediately notice it and shift my energy back to being the kind, the loving person, the wise person that I want to be. Not that person all the time, not at my best all the time, but every day I increase in that. And that's the power that we all have. As it turns out, awakening, shifting consciousness is a skill. It's a skill that when we practice self-awareness, when we practice shifting our energy, when we practice our tapping, we practice self-love, we become better and better and better at it, like learning to play tennis or learning to sing a song or play a piano. It's a skill and it can become a habit. And when we develop that skill and we develop that habit, we can become people of incredible love and joy in our life. And then we can share that with the world and bless the world as we have blessed ourselves.
Amazing. Thank you, Paul. I just need to give Elena a message from somebody. I just want to let everybody know, my beautiful ladies. And oh, I'm so sorry. JL, just go a little bit up. The message is there underneath you. Yes, just stay there for a second. My beautiful diamond beauties or Tanzanite heroes. We are on a private group and we will not be able to see who is giving us love. But somebody said, Elena, your story is so powerful. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry, my beautiful JL. The whole screen is supposed to lift up, but that is not right yet. So I have asked the network to make sure of that. So, Paul, before I move back to Elena, can you please tell us the books that you have written, and if you can show and tell us the ones that you have there?
Sure. I've written 6 books. 2 of them were business books, and 4 of them have been inspirational books. My latest book is called Surprises on the Road to Enlightenment, that I published in last December. It's a collection of 80 insights, 80 surprises that I learned along the way that really, were hit me over the head with the 2 before or kicked me in the butt in some way. And I went, wow, I never saw that one coming. But it was a piece of wisdom that really made a difference in my life, that helped me let go of some little bit of stress or tension, because I could say to myself, oh, that's the way that works. Or, oh, now I get it. Now I realize that's why that has happened. And so I wanted to share those with the world, and especially with my 6-year-old granddaughter. So I really kind of wrote that book for her. She doesn't know it yet, but I'll give it to her one of these days.
Wow, amazing. I love it. So my beautiful Elena, Kathy Dirksen, she's all the way from Canada, Vancouver. I think it's Vancouver. She's also on Pacific Standard Time. She have given you that amazing note to say your story is so powerful. So thank you, my beautiful Paul. Elena, if I can come back to you. I wanted to find out, and when people start to work with you, are they or how do they feel about your beautiful techniques and the way that you are helping them to relook at their situation?
First of all, I just want to make a little note, Paul. I want you to know one thing. There is no such a thing as bigger stories, bigger trauma stories, right? Everybody's story that brings them that level of anxiety that you grew up with, that's trauma, right?
Mm.
It's not probably one trauma point like in my case, but it is a collection of little traumas that make it up. So I want just to clarify to people that because the tragedy that I experienced, it doesn't mean that everybody else is that doesn't have a trauma that big should not work the way I do, because the way I bring it up is that the brain works the same way, either if you're dealing with a small trauma that or little tease that you cannot pinpoint, or a big gigantic trauma, or some occurrence in childhood and things like that, because the brain cannot recognize past or future. For the brain, everything is present time. So if somebody grows up with so much anxiety that they're always afraid of the future, that future is already present. That fear of the future is already present. And if somebody has a story of trauma, like myself and JL and even you, all those traumas that we have in our upbringing is present. So in the present time, we ended up becoming a three wham kind of besides the head of pain and fear and you name it. So the way that I work is with the brain in mind. I do what I call guided neuroplasticity. What does that mean? Is that you will not forget the experiences you have. On the contrary, we will learn to honor more and more, right? But what it does is that it takes the trigger points out of those memories. So even though you do have the memory still from whatever it is that your life brought to you, you can be in this space of inner peace. And I bring guided neuroplasticity, shadow journeys, and the tapping. The tapping is a component that I use strongly, especially because I believe in acupuncture medicine and the wisdom of more than 3,000 years of wisdom from the Chinese medicine. And I believe in our ability to create new neural pathways in our brains so we can choose constantly. Like you said, Paul, it is an everyday practice. It is a skill. And I truly agree with that, and I rely on that. And now
Oh,
I can remember the tragedy. I can still see my parents and my husband die in front of me because I'm a dentist by trade. So I was the first responder, right, with my medical training. And I still can see them all dying around me when I think about it. It's just that it doesn't take me to the depths of desperation. I'm not suicidal anymore, and I understand suicide depression. I was clinically depressed and for years, and I dealt with anxiety attacks, panic attacks, agoraphobia, PTSD, and suicidal spells. So I'm here now because, like all of you here, including you, Senate, we are alchemists. We turned our pain into purpose. And I'm so, so grateful to be part of this and to be in such a great company here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my beautiful Elena. Just one more question. Can you tell us? I think you call it shadow boxing or
Shadow journey.
shadow. Say again.
Shadow journey.
So can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
It's just that during my journey out of all of those difficulties, mental health issues that I had, I was helped grandly by a Jungian therapist. And actually, Carl Jung was the first one to coin the word shadow, that we all have shadows in our psyche, right? And from the shadows, we are held hostage in a lot of ways. Is when you get people that gets under your skin, you get irritated and you don't know why, or you have certain behaviors and reactions to situations that you have no idea where the trigger point was. That's all part of shadow, because in the shadows we are all liars, we are all angry, we suppress that what we don't like in ourselves, and it becomes disowned and dishonor part of us. And the shadow journey, shadow work is about to bring that shadow into the light, because the shadow parts of us hold treasures. And the idea is that once you shed light into it, it transforms and it brings the treasures with it, and then we become what we are supposed to in order to move forward, because we can't move forward just with the nice parts of us and leaving behind the parts that we don't like. We need to move forward as a whole. How can we move forward as a whole if there are parts of me that I don't like, right? So it is about loving ourselves in a deeper in more complete way. Unconditional love is about that. To love what's lovable, it's easy. To love what is hard to love, that is love in a full spectrum.
Wow, wow. I have goosebumps. Just give me 1 second. Yes, for you, my beautiful Elena. Mwah. And you know what?
Uh,
I say when you're in the shadow and you can see light, you have to be in the shadow to know that you are going towards light. I
yes,
just love it. You, I wish you could see. I have now goosebumps here until here at the back of me. Thank you for that. My
thank you.
beautiful JL. I don't know if you want to say something about what Paul and Helena just have said. Elena have said. But if you have, you're welcome. But then can you please tell us, how are you serving the world?
Okay, I would like to really reiterate what Elena said. Elena said at the beginning of your last round there in regards to Paul. I think that trauma doesn't have to be some great, magnificent thing that's happened to you. And I'm hearing, watching your family die around you is probably the epitome of trauma, I think. Mine is sexual abuse at the hands of, a parent and a godfather and all of that. But Paul, your trauma came, as Elena was saying, in little bites. The messages that you were given about how life apparently works. And those can be little messages. And as they're added to and added to and added to and then lived, they become your truth. And so by the time you hit 19, I'm not surprised that those truths caught up with you and your body went, hang on, we need to step back and sort out these truths so that you're not the anxious person that you had become. So trauma can be bite sizes, all connected together, or one big magnificent sort of event as well. So I do reiterate that. So I guess in my field of sexual abuse, or the umbrella of mental illnesses, how do I work with that? I work with the practice that finally found me breakthrough, and that was reality therapy underpinned by choice theory. And reality therapy, as it sounds, looks at the realness of your life. And we begin to deep dive into the thinking that's creating this outcome. We look at the behaviors, we look at the emotional, and then we look at the physical body and what is our physical body experiencing. And I guess the hardest one, I'll give this as the example, is the suicidal depression. I'm hearing that, Elena, you've experienced this as well. So that is probably the worst one that you can experience. And I was encouraged to converse. So I'd get up at 2 a.m. and I'd be in the depths of suicidal depression, wandering around my backyard. And my therapist said, look, sit with suicidal depression and ask, what is your purpose? What is the message you're wanting to share with me? What do I need to learn and therefore face, challenge, and turn around? And as the answers came, I would take them back to Joan, my lady, and we would look at the fears that were embedded, the messages, and begin to look at the reality. Are these actually truth? Or are these fears that have been put into you because it's someone else's fear, and if they get found out, So I had a lot of responsibility to other people, the people that had abused me, and then the next layer of people trying to protect that story, and all of that we go into there. So I work from looking at the realness of your life, and then the next step is, okay, now that you know your clues, how would you like to move forward in changing those clues into positivity, into empowering, and into solutions at the other end? So as a clinician with clients, that's the pathway that I take. They're very much in control. Everyone's an individual, and you can't clone them into a particular outcome or pathway. You create their pathway, the one that's comfortable for them. So in addition to that, so I have my website cited there. So if people are interested, or sort of resonating, please pop on and have a look at that and see how I might be able to support you on your journeys. But I was also encouraged to write my book, and as I've already indicated, that seems to be the most powerful one. I think when you actually read a story and you can embed yourself into the characters of the story, if it's your story or a part of it, you begin to resonate and you begin to feel. And so my first book was 29 chapters, just laying out very briefly what had happened to me in the pathway and coming out. The middle is what I call 14 Pearls of Wisdom. And like Paul's indicating in his last book dedicated to his granddaughter, those epiphanies, those moments that can be helpful not only for you, but for other people in their healing journeys. So I share 14 of those ideas, and gosh, there's probably a lot more. And then the last bit is just outlining reality therapy and how I employed that to help myself heal. My second book is called Recovering All That Jazz, Life and Mental Illness, Life Events and True Understanding. I'm a writer of poetry as well. So I have 50 poems in there. The poem comes first, and then I speak about the poem and the message is embedded and how we can align that to our own healing journey. And, a bit of my story comes into play as well to support people. My third book is called Echoes from My Heart, Words Gifted to Inspire, Comfort and Guide, something like that is the tagline. 100 poems. Just one of those books you open up, what do I need to hear today, or help me through this process. Nice. My fourth book is called Messages in the Night That Shaped My Soul. I actually forget. Isn't that terrible? But I've embedded my story into a fictitious story so I can open up the dialogue even further and really describe what suicidal depression is, what OCD is, and what we experience when we're going through that, and then how I brought myself out of that. And I surround myself by a whole heap of other people that are struggling in their lives, and how we all help each other and empower each other and all those sorts of things. So I guess I'm trying to get the message out there through employing different aspects in different areas that people will, perhaps join into, resonate with, join to, and then learn from for their own stories moving forward. That's it.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you, my beautiful JL. So, my beautiful Paul, before I come back to you, I just wanted to ask, JL, you said you got the epiphany or you have written your epiphanies in your second book of the poetry. Can you pinpoint when you received that aha moment that have changed your life forever?
I would have to say there wasn't perhaps one complete aha moment, but I think the reality, the the first pearl of wisdom that I write about, and I think is at the core of most mental illnesses, and this is my opinion born from my own story, is that the relationships that we connect with, the relationships are at the core. If you look at your mental illnesses or you look at your struggles in life, I would wager that there is at least one relationship that's connected to that particular story. So in my case, the relationship, of course, was the one I had with my father, because it was, if you tell this is what's going to happen and this is what will happen to me, it's all your fault and it's all your responsibility. So that's a pretty damning message to put into me. So I guess the epiphany moment for me was looking at that relationship and what that moment in time had done to me and how it had shaped me moving forward. And once I really understood and reframed that moment in time, to really look at the fact that I had no responsibility and it had nothing to do with me, I was just the person that it was all put into, then I was able to begin to give myself permission to turn that around and release myself from that hold. But that's a very tough bit, because my other family culture and very strong, narrow religious upbringing and ideals as well. And there's a place for religion, I'm not saying that, but mine was very controlled, very strict. And so, yeah, there was a lot to undo. So I think there were little epiphanies along the way.
Yes, yes. But when you look at that, you gave me goosebumps. When you look at that one relationship, and you really look at your as a child reference, this was your reference, and you say,
Yes.
but it was not your fault. How
Yes.
many people is still holding on to stuff that happened when they were young, and now they are like saying, why didn't I do this? But as a child, you had that reference. And
Yes.
as a child, that reference doesn't matter what it was this big. Wow, I want to cry. Thank you, my beautiful JL. You are amazing. Our next summit is going to be in March, and we're going to talk about breaking the code of silence. And you have given me the title of the session as well. So thank you. So my beautiful Paul, can I come then to you? Can you please tell us how you are serving the people in the corporates in your world? And then if you have anything before answering that, if you have anything for the two ladies that you want to mention.
I've been a business consultant for the last 22 years, and I still help people in that capacity, helping new business owners develop and implement their growth strategies and plans, write business plans, provide funding support, financial projections, fractional CFO duties, and all that kind of left brain accounting, let's create a project plan and execute it and go for it kind of energy. But over the last 15 years or so, I've been gradually shifting more and more into personal coaching to share with people the tools that I have developed for myself and teach them about the amazing power we all have to develop that skill of focusing our attention and shifting our energy. So that's when I developed the mind sequencing program, and my last 4 books have all been inspirational books. And I see myself shifting more and more towards that personal coaching, that personal growth focus. So now my ideal clients are business owners, solopreneurs, micro business owners who recognize the relationship in between their attitudes, their perspectives, their state of being, their frame of mind, and their performance at work. And they see life as, a whole experience, to where it makes really good sense to reduce your tension and anxiety and increase your performance and the times that you are in a flow state or in the zone, so that you can achieve the business success that you really want to achieve. and be the person that you want to be at the same time.
Wow,
Nice.
that's amazing. Elena, do you want to say something?
I just find it fascinating because that is where all business are that are succeeding in the long run. They're going towards, because you can't have, well, okay, you can have a successful business, make a lot of money, but that's not happy money, right? Actually, there's a book from Dan Honda that talks about happy money. And I think what your proposal is right on point, that we need to have that heart connection, because success is possible, but feeling the success, that takes heart. And I think we can be in any level of our lives and experience success no matter what. And when JL was talking about the relationship, I thought she was talking about the relationship with herself, actually. And then she went one step back. Yes, I understood that later, and I thought that is perfect, because again we go back to having this connection with ourselves in a self-awareness, in a level that takes courage. So not only we are alchemists here, all of us here, but we are also wounded healers, and we are also the ones that are shining light into darkness, into every corner of a person's potentialities. And I love that. So thank you so much. I love your approach, Paul. It's awesome. I really like it too.
Wow. So for me, when I was thinking of imagining to have an amazing group, it was in June 2021. I have joined a lot of groups since COVID, but it was so strange. For me, out of South Africa, first of all, the people didn't understand my accent. And then I was wearing the hat, so everybody was worrying about why I'm wearing a hat. But there was no heart. For me, if you can pay for a service or a product, yes, you are good, you are. But if you say no, then they don't want to have to do it with you. So my biggest wish was to have a beautiful group of the, ladies first. We only have the diamond or the Tanzanite heroes now for 7 weeks, but for for the ladies to have a group to come and inspire each other with love, to lift each other up, and just see in good and bad, no sorrow times, to make sure you are there. So the group is almost 3 years old. So I do see so much love between the group of the ladies. It's like unbelievable. So yes, my beautiful Paul, I hear what you say, because I've also decided I want to have an amazing business. And now I have added a few more things to my list, but it must be all heart centered,
Yeah.
because I cannot even think of doing anything with my purpose and the love, because my superpower is love, without heart. I cannot even think about it. So I know we're almost finished, but can I quickly ask, maybe just maybe you will know your superpower. Elena, what is your superpower and what is your forever song?
My superpower is to be able to walk into anybody's hell and help that person find a way out, because I know hell and I know how to get out of hell. So I can teach anybody to do the same. And my power song is Beethoven's Five Secrets. And Sanet and I had this work together, and I love that song. And whenever I hear it, I can see us dancing to that song. And it's a beautiful song because it, I want to learn to play cello. I don't know how to play cello yet, and it's from the piano guys, and they play cello, and they bring that uplifting feeling that touches my heart, and I and I just love that. That's it.
Wow. Thank you. Remember, I was like doing a ballet. It
Oh,
was
I
so
know.
wonderful.
It was awesome.
It was wonderful. And my beautiful JL, can you please tell us what's your superpower? We only have a few minutes left, so make it quickly. And then also your forever song, please.
I think my superpower is actually similar to Elena's, and I guess Paul as well. And that is when you've gone through trauma and you've gone to the depths of hell, and then you've had to struggle and find your way out, and you go backwards and forwards, you come out with a magnificent awareness. And so I have a tremendous awareness when people are telling their stories, that I can see in between the storylines they're sharing and see the reality of what their life may be. I can bring an understanding to their stories that I think people who haven't had those sort of backgrounds are not able to bring. Not to discount them, but I think we have that gift of giving understanding. And so I would like to think that's my superpower, the gift of understanding. My song that I shared with you, Sanet, was My Immortal. This is a song that I actually sang to open a public speaking thing once. And it's a very moving song. It's a song about a lady who loses a relative to death, and her struggle through finding the way through and finding peace again after that. So it was very relevant to the public speaking gig that I was doing, and being able to sing it, I sang it and brought that emotion into the room as well. So that's my favorite song at the moment because it holds a
Wow.
lot of power.
Wow, thank you. So, Paul, we've got 1 minute to go. Can you please tell us what is your superpower and then also what's your forever song?
My superpower is helping people level up. It's helping people realize the power of extreme self-awareness to wherever they are in life, to take that up into divine love, into divine amazement, into divine surrender, into that optimal human experience, over and over and over and over in their lives. And my forever song is one that I wrote called Peaceful and Strong, that I sing to myself a lot.
And I've listened to it as well. It was beautiful. Your voice is beautiful. So, my beautiful guest, thank you for being here, my beautiful viewers, Diamond Beauties and Tanzanite Heroes. I hope that you are going to enjoy, even on the replay, our show. And I want to say thank you for being here. So, first of all, I have to ask my guests, my beautiful Elena, JL, and Paul, will you have a dance with me?
Of
Yeah.
course.
And my beautiful viewers out there, will you have a dance with me? They said yes, they said yes. Here we go.
Walking on sunshine or dancing in the rain. Sprinkle me with fairy dust so I can fly away. Smiling at a moonbeam or squinting in the sun. Sprinkle me with fairy dust and cover me with love. From butterflies to eagles, oh, there's magic in that light. Sprinkle me with fairy dust, watch me take to